स्पोर्ट्स से जुड़ी किसी भी छोटी या बड़ी अपडेट के लिए सब्सक्राइब करें स्पोर्ट्स तक और साथ ही किसी भी नोटिफिकेशन को पाने के लिए बेल आइकन को दबाना ना भूलें।
David Warner is available for tomorrow's match, and he is jumping out of his skin to start this campaign.
Next question.
Do you have an update on KANE Williamson's
Yeah, look, Kane only arrived last night with Martin Guptill. They had to attend an awards function in New Zealand for the cricket board. We're assessing Kane today and tomorrow, and one thing we do know, that it's not a long-term injury. Whether he plays tomorrow or not, that decision will be made tomorrow. But if not, we've got quite a few days before our next home game, and if he's not available tomorrow, I don't see there being any issues from the second game onwards. Yeah, Boov is our vice captain. Yep.
Hi, Tom.
Hi.
It must be difficult saying no to a captain who's already won an IPL like David Warner. So how easy was the conversation with Warner on him not being captain because this year now that he's back?
Look, I think Davey understood. The leadership comes in many different fashions, and Davey still has a leadership role within the group, out in the middle with bat in hand and around training, and out in the middle when it comes to strategy from over to over. But we just felt there was no need to make any change from last year. Kane is obviously a current standing international captain, a captain that's admired globally on that platform, and what he did with us last year, we felt that it seemed to make sense to continue that continuity.
This even one last year, sort of that last game for KKR.
Yep.
How much of that counts? Because that is a sort of the way you came back. Does it sort of keep a legacy where when you start a match like this, how much of it counts?
Very little. I think what we've got to understand with this venue is that the characteristics of this venue has changed dramatically. Coming here 5 years ago to coming here of recent times, they're two completely different challenges for visiting teams. And we feel the surface here and the ground here very much suits the brand of cricket that we play, and so we go into tomorrow's game with a lot of confidence. Their own strategy, how to play the three different types of spinners, and just sticking to that plan and trusting yourself out in the middle. But again, as much as we need to be aware of their spin options, I'm sure they're equally as aware of our spin options.
Tom, taking forward what you just said, how much of an improvement have you seen in Rashid from the last IPL, given that he's been playing in other leagues, he's playing less cricket for Afghanistan? How much of an improvement have you seen in Rashid?
It's probably a question that's easier to answer halfway through the tournament. Rashid's only joined us the last couple of days, given that both him and Nabi have been involved in that test match. We felt it was important they had a chance to, freshen up and re-engage with family and what have you. They've been to 2 training sessions, so it's a bit early for me to make a call. But put it this way, he hasn't gone backwards.
Tom, given the abundance of pitches in your foreign players, do you think zeroing on 4 playing 11 is a good headache for you?
Yeah, it is a good headache, but a headache that's been planned 2 years ago through the auction. We were very conscious of making sure that we had all the right combinations for any situation. I think the most important thing from my perspective and the captain's perspective is that we have that constant communication with not only the foreign players, but we feel also with the domestic players. There's a number of domestic players that we feel could easily play in our best 11. So we've got a squad of 23. All of them could present a strong case that they should be in the 11 tomorrow.
You know, this because it's a World Cup year and many other foreign players will be involved, the franchises affected by that. So how do you see the franchises taking overall have prepared for this, and how much it's going to impact the...
I think how it's going to impact, I think time will only tell, because there's certain players we're unsure of their availability, and we're also unsure of whether the Indian players are going to be impacted at all, whether they're going to be asked to rest for a handful of games at some stage. But my view on it is a pretty relaxed view. I think that, like the point I've just made to the previous gentleman, I've got 100% confidence in the 23 that we've got, and I feel all of them, present a strong case that they could play. So as much as we may miss certain players when they go at certain times, I've got confidence in people that will walk into those roles. And I think given what the IPL has done to get the fixtures or the round stage finished by the 5th is a brilliant effort, because a lot of teams aren't going to be affected too badly. Maybe when it comes to finals it might be a different story, but certainly in the main stage of the tournament, I think most players will be available.
Hi. One of the biggest, in some circles, they're saying that one of the biggest scoop in IPL cricket has been the transfer of Bhavan for 3 excellent players. So 2 small questions. One is, what sort of role and how often do you see these 3 players who have been drafted in, Shabaz, Abhishek and Vijay? How often and what sort of role are you planning for them? And secondly, who replaces Shikhar at the top?
We'll see tomorrow, that question. We've got options there to who can open the batting. But the immediate swap at the top of the order from our team last year is Warner for Shikhar. There's opener for opener. The other players, we're thrilled to pick up those 3 players. The 3 of them bring different things to us, and 3 different options. The growth and improvement in Vijay Shankar's game has been, a pleasure to watch, particularly given he was part of our family originally, and seeing him progress and do well for India has been it's one of the pleasures of coaching, is seeing players evolve like that and blossom. The first time I've worked with both Nadeem and Abhishek, Nadeem there's no question of his quality as a left arm spinner, and I'm excited to see what he can offer. And his opportunity will come depending on combinations that we may or may not go with. And Abhishek is a young but clearly an extremely talented, batting all-rounder. The sky's the limit for him. It's just a case of, when his opportunity comes, and generally when you're 18 years old, there's so much learning you can do in these environments. And it's important that whether he's playing or not playing, he's continuing to grow as a young emerging talent.
Last question, gentleman at the back.
You have Nitiman Saha, you have players who are
Yeah.
So who do you think is that moral keeping?
I won't be telling you that, but we've got obviously 3 very good options. What I will say, it's great to see Saha back fit. He's had a long journey with recovery, and what he gave us last year through some challenging times fitness-wise with a break in his hand was showed a lot of character and courage. And again, his keeping is second to none. Really, he is just an outstanding gloveman. Obviously, picking Johnny Bairstow up in the auction was an important strategy for us, because we wanted an overseas player that could give us the option to keep wickets. And having an impact player like Johnny Bairstow, who's your similar mould to your Joss Buttler type, just gives us that option and that flexibility with our overseas combinations to have that keeping role nailed down, but have an impact player at the same time.